Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Happy Boy. I'm Mrs. B. Yo, it's been a moment. Yeah, thank you so much for liking, for sharing, and for subscribing. I really appreciate it. We are moving. I think we are close to 500 subscribers, which is amazing. So yeah, I'm just continuing where I left off with the things that I've learned from being married young. But this time around, I won't really talk about things that I've learned from being young. I guess these things are things that should actually be things that we realize, whether you married young or old or whatever the case may be, or you were married then and you're still now, like still married and you're now old. But one other thing that, or the other things that I want to add to the list, the other one is a famous one really, which is communication. One thing I've learned is that when it comes to communication, I know every time, even if you were to Google something to do with marriage, literally the first thing you will see is communication. But what does communication really mean? I think that is like the biggest thing when it comes to the issue of communication, because some people might take it as that when you communicate is saying, oh, I'm hungry, or okay, I'm going to sleep, or something like that. Yes, that is also part of communication, but in this instance, what I've learned is that when you are communicating to your husband or your wife is when there is even an understanding for what you are saying, things that affect your marriage. You must be able to communicate things that affect your marriage, things that make you happy, things that make you sad, or things that are just in general, in your marriage. For example, it could be that I don't like it when my husband does something. Instead of keeping quiet, I need to communicate that to him. So yeah, things like that. I don't want to make this video too long, but if I see like a need to continue, I will definitely do so. But at the moment, I just want to cut it short. I just want to make it short, not cut it short, but I want to make it short so that it's not like a long, boring video. But yeah, so communication is one of those big things, because communication determines, like a whole lot of things in marriage. Because if you are not able to communicate, or you're just not willing to communicate, then it's just not gonna work. It doesn't work really. So let us try and learn, or these are some of the things, one of the other biggest things that I've learned when it comes to communication. And also, this is something that even when you do premarital counseling, is something that they actually also emphasize on. And then the other thing that I've learned is boundaries. You need to set boundaries, not between the two of you. Yes, some people also do believe in setting boundaries between the two of you as husband and wife, but the boundaries that I'm referring to now is boundaries between your marriage and other people. For example, setting boundaries between you and family, or between you and friends, in the sense that some things people must just understand that, you are married, and you just need to understand that this is how I want to do things, this is how I do things, and there shouldn't be a blurry line. I actually once posted a status saying that boundaries are very important, in the sense that also, if you don't set boundaries, it is very common that people might not even respect your husband or your wife, because of maybe how you speak to him, or maybe because of how you allow people to speak to your wife, or to your partner, or to your husband, or whichever way. So for example, if you realize that someone is saying things you don't like about your wife, or is making comments about your wife or your husband, even if it's things that are true, sometimes if they make you uncomfortable, then I feel like you should set those boundaries straight. Yeah, boundaries can also be set between partners, or between husband and wife, where you guys have your boundaries, where okay, you as my husband don't get to this point, or you as my wife don't get to this point. For me, that I do not really have much to say on it, because I feel like boundaries that I can refer to, for me, is just respect between the two of us. So I think yeah, that's literally what I can consider to be a boundary. You know, if the other person doesn't like a certain thing, then you shouldn't do it in that regard. I'm not sure if, I know respect is a different thing and also boundaries is a different thing, but I just believe that between two people that are married, there can be boundaries. So yeah, another thing that I want to add, of which I think might be the last or second last thing that I wanted to discuss in this video, is that as when you are married to someone, there must be privacy, and this is not necessarily between the two of you again, but between you as a married couple and other people. It can't be that everyone knows everything about everything that you do as husband and wife, you know. I know you might have that couple friend, or you might have that trusted couple that you literally share everything. I mean, from finances and whatever, of which I personally don't really believe in that. I don't think anyone should know how much my husband earns, or I don't personally feel like there are certain things. I'm just giving a typical example. There are certain things that I don't feel like people should earn. I know they are, I mean, should know, not earn. Oh, I know there are certain things that, I mean, certain people that are just private in nature. So even when they get to marriage, they are even private. They even exercise the right to privacy between them and their wife, or between them and their husband, or between them and their husband. But in this instance, I'm talking about things that are concerning the both of you, to the people, or to the friends, or to the family, because to the families, because sometimes you might communicate something that your partner didn't want you to communicate. Because I would like to believe, of which this is where communication comes in. You guys will communicate that, okay, listen, we are buying a house, but can we not tell friends? You must also respect, even if the next person did not say it out loud, I feel like respecting their right of privacy as well is very important. For example, if you decide to buy a house, you can always ask, okay, husband, or okay, wife, I was thinking I should tell my friend something like this. Is it something you are comfortable with? Because it could be that you do not have a problem with him or her telling his friends, but you realize that sometimes the other party has an issue about the next person telling their friends, or telling other people, or friends, or people that sort of families, or people that are not part of your marriage. So for me, that's another thing. And then lastly, the last thing is learning to understand that not everything is about you. I'm not sure if I actually touched a bit on the previous video, or I touched on this a bit on the previous video, but one thing that I've learned is that not everything is about you. Sometimes I know as females, we are not selfish, man. That's like, I feel like this is just how we are. This is how we are designed. This is how we are made by God. And you know, some things men just have to compromise, but there are things that you realize they have a huge impact on the marriage. And if you always want things to be about you, then it becomes an issue, because then why are you married to the next person if everything is about you? I'm not talking about curtains, the color of curtains, or okay, I prefer pink, or I prefer yellow, or of which also in that instance I don't really believe is a great thing, but that is like not a big thing for me. But you know, learning to understand that not everything is about you, accommodating the next person, understanding that, you know what, I am married to my husband, or I'm married to my wife, and not everything is about me, goes a long way. It plays a huge role in that instance. So yeah, I will end here with today's video. I will definitely come back with another one. Thank you so much for liking, for subscribing, and for sharing my videos, and for commenting. I do see that the subscribers subscription is going high. I really appreciate it. And yeah, keep watching, keep sharing, keep posting, and I see you, keep commenting. And thank you very much. Keep well.